Hi guys, welcome to my channel, The Golden Cruiser. I'm Cindy, and today we're going to be talking about some features of a cruise that you may regret. Now in this video, I will talk about some features of a cruise ship that you think are great, but are they really? So grab a drink and a snack, sit back and relax, and let's talk about cruising. So number one, guaranteed cabin. Now you may think you are getting a great price by booking a guaranteed cabin where the cruise ship picks your cabin for you. But you could end up in a cabin in a bad location that nobody wanted, such as under the pool deck, where they're pulling out chairs very early in the morning and pushing them back very late at night, and you're hearing that scraping of the chairs along there, or nightclubs that are open until the early morning hours, or some other area that is not a good area for noise. Or you could be in the very front of the ship where there's a lot of rocking motion, and especially if you're prone to seasickness, this is not a good area for you to be in. Or like our last cruise, we had to take guaranteed cabin because it's all they had. We had a nice cabin, balcony cabin, but we were so far away from the elevator. We walked and walked and walked and walked and walked. That was my only complaint about it. But if you don't care about this, if you don't care where you are on the ship, it doesn't bother you, then it's great to do that. But if you care about the noise or the location, then don't do a guaranteed cabin. These are cabins really that nobody else wanted because everybody else booked and picked the ones they want. So you kind of get the leftovers. So when you're booking this, is it really worth it to get a guaranteed cabin? Also, I have heard of, and this doesn't happen very often, but people have gotten to their cruise ready to board and they say, sorry, it's sold out. Well, the ones that sell out are these guaranteed cabins because usually cruise ships overbook a little bit expecting people to cancel. And then when they don't cancel, it's sold out. And the people with the guaranteed cabins are the ones that are going to probably not have a cabin and not be able to get on the ship. So just think about that next time you book a guaranteed cabin. Is it really worth the price difference to be in a cabin that you have no idea what it's going to be or where it's at? Number two is anytime dining. Now, anytime dining sounds great, doesn't it? Go anytime you want. But in many ships, you still have to make a reservation, and you have to book it usually on the app to tell them what time you want to go. And then if other passengers are booking that same time, it can get pretty bottlenecked, and sometimes you won't even get to dinner till 45 minutes to an hour later because everybody else is trying to book the same reservation. Or you could be in a very long line if you just go down there to get a seat. You can be in a very long line waiting to eat. And again, not the time you wanted. So the system they have isn't just walk in, get right in, sit down. There's other people that want to go to at that same time. So depending on how many people are going at the same time or how many people are making a reservation at that time, you may not get in right away. I know we had this on Carnival one time, the anytime dining. And Carnival, we would put on the app that we were ready to go to dinner. And then they would send us a confirmation back when our table was ready. Usually that was between 15 minutes to a half an hour. So it depends on the ship you're on, how many people are on that ship. We were on a smaller Alaska sailing on that ship. So it just depends on what ship and how they work their anytime dining. But if you're worried about that, it's really better just to book what time you want to go. We do this. We usually book the early dining because we like to go to the shows, which are usually at 7 or 7:30, the first production shows. So we book an early dinner, and we book it for like 5 or 5:30, whatever the first seating is. And we book it for every night. So we book every night the same time, which means we have the same waiter and the same table every night, which I really like. So our last cruise, we had like 530 seating. We just walked right in there every night, sat at our table. Our waiters were right there. They already had our drinks coming because they get to know you because you have the same waiters. Where if you do anytime dining, you have different waiters every night and they're pretty rushed in there because everyone's going at the same times. So I like to pick my time. Some ships you can even pick different times per night. So you could say, like on the first night you wanted 5 o'clock. At the second night you wanted 7 o'clock. At the third night you're out to port and you're not going to be back till later. You pick 8 o'clock. But you're still at a set time dining where you pretty much you can just walk in and get in there instead of waiting in line. But it's all up to the individual and it depends on each ship. Unlimited Wi-Fi package. Now cruise ships say unlimited, but usually it's not unlimited. Now usually the ship system is a satellite based. It's expensive and bandwidth is extremely limited and shared among thousands of passengers. So certain sites and services may be blocked and you may have slow speeds. Some ships you cannot even send a regular text message on it. You have to go through Facebook Messenger, which I know we had to do on, I believe it was Carnival. I had to go through Facebook Messenger to send a message home. I couldn't just do a text message. You may not be able to stream a movie or upload high resolution photos. So it just depends again on what system the cruise ship has, what size ship you're on, but don't expect to be able to do everything that you can do like on land-based with the ship's Wi-Fi because you can't. So when they're saying unlimited Wi-Fi, it's not really unlimited. You'll probably be able to check your email, check your bank account, look at Facebook, things like that. But like I said, I couldn't even send a regular text message. It had to go through Facebook. So just check with your ship before you leave. Look on their website. It probably tell what it covers, or just give them a call and ask what all it covers, just in case there's something you're needing to do on there for work or something that maybe is not available before you pay the high price of Wi-Fi. Number 4 is the all-inclusive drink package. Now, the drink package is very profitable for a cruise ship, as I can imagine. They're usually very expensive, costing as much as $80 to $100 per person. And then they add on an additional 18 to 20% gratuity on top of that. So we're talking thousands of dollars. To me, it is just absolutely not worth it. Now, this depends on each ship. They're different priced. When we were on Carnival, I think just the alcohol package was $75 a person per day, and every person in your cabin that is over 21 must take it if one person does. So that's 2 people taking it, $75 a day. To break even on a 7-day cruise, you would need to drink 8 to 10 cocktails per day. And not all drink packages cover certain drinks like premium wines, top shelf liquor, and you usually have a certain amount of drinks you can drink per day, like 15 a day. Now, some cruise ships, depending on the ship, some might be just the alcohol package, some might be alcohol and soda and waters. It's all different. Some might include the specialty coffees. So you just have to check into that and figure out how many drinks am I going to be drinking, per day. Usually on a cruise ship, usually like beers or, things like that are like $8, and like your cocktail would be 12 to 15, depending on what you're ordering. There are some things out there, if you Google it, that you can put in how many you drink a day, and it will tell you if it's worth it or not for the cruise ship that you're on. And just figure that out before you just grab the drink package thinking it's a great deal. Because for me, I would be spending so much more money. I have a couple cocktails during my whole cruise. I don't drink coffees. I don't drink sodas. So it depends on what the person's preference is. Now, I will tell you, for the first time ever, and I've been cruising for 30 years, for the first time ever, I have purchased the drink package on our Princess Cruise. But I'll tell you why. Because it's $60 a day, It includes 15 alcohol drinks a day, which I will not meet. It does include specialty coffees. I do drink things like chai tea and iced teas, which it includes chai teas and specialty iced teas. It does include your gratuities and your Wi-Fi and 2 casual dinings and other items. For your medallion to be shipped to you. And there was a bunch of other things on there. And if I broke those down and calculated those out of how many drinks of that I would have and the gratuities and the Wi-Fi I would purchase and everything, it was a lot higher to purchase that individually. So I think Princess Cruise actually has the best package out there because of all these other things that it includes. So I have purchased that on this trip, and I think it'll be really good, especially since those are all included. But if you're getting a drink package that is strictly just the alcohol, and you don't even get water, bottled water with it or anything, then I would think about that unless you're a very heavy drinker and you can drink, your 15 drinks a day or something like that. But check this out. Figure it out separately of how much you'd be drinking and see if it's really worth it. Because people usually just jump on these and think, oh, I'm going to get this package. This is going to be great. And then they can't drink that much alcohol to make it worth it. So just check that out. Number 5 is the art auctions. And if you've ever been on a cruise, you know about these. Now, they're usually there waiting for you, and you can guess the weight of this item and win a picture, and they hand out these little pictures to everyone. And then they give you the champagne auction that you can attend. Well, the art auction on a cruise ship is never a good investment if you're just thinking you're going to purchase some of this art for an investment. They are often mass-produced lithographs with inflated prices. The free champagne they use is to loosen up your inhibitions, lower your guard, and get you to buy these paintings. The art gallery staff are highly trained salespeople, and they are not art experts. So if you think you're getting a really good deal on this, if you have the Wi-Fi, look up that painting that you're wanting to buy on your phone, and usually you will see you can get it somewhere else for a lot less money, the same painting, and they're not going to be originals. So just check that out. If you want to look at the art, go during your leisure time and just stroll the art gallery and take a look at everything instead of going to the art auctions, which are high pressured, and you might get too much champagne and be bidding on a piece of art that's usually not worth the price. So just be careful of those art auctions. Number 6 is shore excursions. Now, the most popular shore excursions sold by the cruise lines are usually the most expensive and least authentic. Cruise lines act as a middleman, marking up local tour operators' prices by 30 to 50%. These are usually designed for large groups of people, meaning you could be on a bus with 50 other people and spend more of your time waiting than exploring. So you're waiting for all these people to get back on the bus, to get off the bus. And then when you get to a place to look at something, you're on a time restraint, usually a strict one. So there might have been something you wanted to go look at and you couldn't even go look at that, or you just had to stay with the group and you're not even on enough time to look. I've heard many passengers complain about never enough time to look at everything. They do. Now, the cruise ship will guarantee they get you back to the ship on time, or they'll get you to the next port and all that. But they will leave you there, too, if you're not back on time, even if it's their fault. They won't wait for you. They might get you to the next port, but the ship is not going to wait. It leaves when it has to leave. So if something happens out there on your tour and you're way late, they're not going to be there when you get back. But they'll get you to the next destination. So check out third-party venues, maybe ones other people have used that you know. I know of a good one called shoreexcursionsgroup.com. They also guarantee return to the ship on time. They're usually less money, and they'll do smaller group tours. So you can spend more time with a smaller group, more personalized to you, rather than having this massive group with so little time. So check into something like that. or even some local tours when you get off the ship. Now, this really depends on where you're at. There's some places that have really good tours right there when you get off the ship that are really good, and then other places like, well, when we were in Cabo in Mexico, we almost got ripped off by trying to do one of those tours on the cruise ship, but we just ended up not doing it because it didn't sound legit. So you just got to be careful of, what you're doing. Look at some reviews and things and take it from there. Number 7, the onboard photo package. Now, the photo package is often expensive, sometimes awkward, and an unnecessary expense. Now, dozens of photographers are stationed all around the ship with beautiful backdrops waiting to take your picture. And I know that sometimes, I think like once I bought the package for my son, granddaughter, and I. Sometimes I might just buy one portrait, but it's like $20 a picture to purchase one. So it is expensive, and sometimes they're trying to pose you in awkward positions. I know they do this, and I don't know why, with my son and I. Now, I'm 69 years old. He's 42, 41 or 42. And I don't know if they think we're a couple, but they're always trying to like have us put our arms together around each other. And it's very awkward. And we tell them, I'm like, hey, this is my son. We don't want to be posed like this. So it can be very awkward. So the best thing to do to save money and have a more natural picture is to just have someone on the cruise ship. If you're out on the deck and you see a beautiful sunset, just ask a passenger going by, do you mind taking a picture of us? And they won't hardly say no. I've had people take pictures of us. They were always happy to. And then I would say, would you like us to take a picture of you now? And sometimes they'd say yes, sometimes no. But other people would be glad to take a picture, or just get a long selfie stick and hold it out there and take your own pictures. It will save you a lot of money, and you can get more natural backgrounds. But if you want to pay for that photo package, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. If you're new to cruising and you want to have something special, then go ahead and do that. It's all up to the individual, but it is an extra expense. Number 8 is bottled water. Now, I've heard a lot of passengers, maybe the new people, didn't realize that they had to pay for bottled water, and they'd go up to the bar and ask for a bottled water. Well, bottled water is not free unless you have bought a drink package and it's included in that package. And not all drink packages include bottled water. So make sure you know when you are buying your drink package what is included in that, because they do charge for bottled water. And if you want to have bottled water delivered to your room before the cruise, which you can do, it's going to cost you a lot of money. I was going to get a bottled water for our cruise, and I think it was $24 for 12 bottles of water to be delivered to our room. But since we got the drink package, it is the bottled water is included, and you can get as much bottled water as you want. So we're just going to each grab a couple of those every night and take them back to the cabin, because I drink a lot of water. So just note that the bottled water is not free unless it's in your drink package. You can bring your own refillable bottles. We usually bring our refillable aluminum bottles we have. They'll either have bottle refilling stations or water stations. Now, a lot of the water stations, you can't put your own bottle right under there. You have to take a cup and pour it in there, or there's cups by the water station if you want that. And there's nothing wrong with the ship's water. It's filtered right there on the ship, so you can drink it and it's just fine. But that's just a tip that the bottled water is not free. Number 9, complimentary room service. Now, you may hear this advertised on your cruise that there's complimentary room service, but only, most cruise lines only provide a small continental breakfast that is for free, and usually all the other items on the menu come with a fee depending on the cruise ship that you're on or the cruise line. Sometimes they have a service fee between $5 and $10 per order that you must pay. Other times there's a one-time fee. I know right now I think there's a one-time fee on Princess Cruise. I don't remember what it is, but that was one of the items included in our drink package I purchased, that we don't have to pay that one-time fee. And I heard that Princess has a lot of items free, no extra price on their room service menus, where a lot of other ships you have to pay for, each item you order. So again, it just depends on your ships. But when they say complimentary room service, it's really not complimentary. They're usually adding a tip in there, and then you're charged for certain foods you get. Usually the continental breakfast is the only thing that's free. Number 10 is the discount gift shops. Now, cruise gift shops claim to have duty-free and huge discounts, and they're often more expensive than a store that would be in port or inland. They're highly profitable for the cruise lines. If you're wanting a specific item, like a type of jewelry or a handbag that you see on there, they sell designer bags and exclusive watches and everything. Check the prices online and see if you're really getting a good deal, because usually you'll pay less on land for these items than you will on a cruise ship. And if you're wanting some souvenirs, wait until you get into the ports where things are a lot less and get your souvenirs there. And most of the stores on a cruise ship, you cannot return the item once you purchased it. Another thing to be aware of is the inch of golds that the cruise ship has. Now, on my cruise, not last one, the one before that, I bought a gold necklace for a man that was watching our dog while we were gone on the cruise for 7 days. We were gone like 10 days. So I thought I'd bring back a nice necklace, gold necklace. And it was long because it was for a man. I paid like $65 for it, got home, the clasp broke right away. Well, they guarantee they'll fix these, but you have to mail them back to Florida and wait for them. So instead of that, we just went to a little craft store and we bought a clasp to fix that. Well, then the necklace started turning green on his neck. And how embarrassing is that? You brought back what you thought was a nice necklace to someone, and it starts turning green. So I sent it back to Florida, and they sent back another one. So it took a long time. We'll wait and see what happens with that. But no more inch of golds for me. I'm not going to do that anymore. I've heard of other people buying those inch of golds and they break or something happens and you got to ship them back. So just be careful about that. A lot of times they have those big sales. Come in and get a charm bracelet. You get the bracelet free, and then you get a charm free, and then you only have to pay $5 for this charm and this charm. And then you have this charm you've actually paid for, and it gets home, and my charm bracelets sit in my jewelry box, and I never wear them. I did this. I got them from my granddaughter. I got them for myself. Neither one of us ever wear them again. They just sit there. So just beware of that. It seems like it might be a nice gift for someone, or that you'd really want it. But think about, are you going to wear it again? Sometimes I will take it on that specific cruise ship if I'm going to go, because usually they either say Carnival, Royal Caribbean, they have a charm on for that. So I might sometimes take it, but generally it's just sitting there. So that's another thing, that you think you're getting a good deal, or they'll have big massive sales on the cruise ship. All these items are $10. Make sure it's something you want, because I've bought those before and they sit in my room and I never use them again. So there's just some ways to save some money. I love cruising, and I'm not trying to put down cruises or anything, but they will try to nickel and dime you to death on that cruise, trying to get you to buy all these things that you really don't need, but you get excited and you get caught up in the moment and you think you need these things, where if you really think about it, you don't. Save your money for something else that you really want to do, like taking an excursion or a port tour or something else. So just be careful of all these nickel and diming you all over the ship. So there you have it. Thanks for stopping by today. If you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up. And please consider subscribing to my channel. I want to thank you all for stopping by and have a wonderful day. Bye for now.